Hi, today I'm going to show you how to set up and use the Libby by Overdrive app. First, we're going to go to the App Store. Libby is available for iPhone, iPad, and Android devices. I'm going to download it. Once that's downloaded, I'm going to open the Libby app, find my library, and sign in. So the first question is, do you have a library card? Yes, I do. You'll need both your library card number, found on the back, as well as your PIN, which is generally the last 4 digits of your phone number. If you're not sure what your PIN is, feel free to call the library and we can help you out. So you can have the app guess your library based on locations. I'm going to search for a library, and you see it pops up there, but I'm going to search by zip code just so you can see. You could also type in Wilmington. Alright, so there it is. First thing, we're part of the Ohio Digital Library, Wilmington Public Library of Clinton County. I'm going to select that. And then even though we told it was the Wilmington Public Library, it just sees the Ohio Digital Library. We have to tell it one more time which library we use. So I'm going to hit that choose a location in red. And then there are several libraries that are part of the Ohio Digital Library. So we'll scroll all the way down to the bottom, or almost the bottom, and select Wilmington Public Library of Clinton County. Okay, at this point we're going to enter in the library card number. And then the PIN. And then sign in. And it's going to double check that you have a library card with us, that it's in good standing, and all that good stuff. If you get an error at this point, feel free to call us. We can see if there's anything going on our end, or maybe help walk you through. Alright, so once it finds your library card, I've used my card before, of course, so it shows that I have a few things on hold and I have a few things on loan. You can see here the limit, so you can have up to 10 items on loan or checked out at a time. You can also put up to 15 items on hold. So I'm going to click next. If you've never used this before, you would have 0 of 10 and 0 of 15 there. So we'll hit next, and then this is what you're going to see when you open the app. You only need to do that first part where you sign in and put your library card once, and then it should remember it. So this is what you'll see. Usually there's some sort of highlighted, either like a theme or a book first. So you see that Murder on the Oxford Canal. You can scroll down and you'll see various collections they've put together. You can search by what's popular, what's new. You can search by what's available. With Libby, you might need to wait for a title. There's only so many book licenses available. So sometimes if they're all checked out, you might have to put it on hold and wait a little bit to be able to read or listen to that book. There are ebooks and eaudiobooks as well as magazines on here. Okay, so I usually like to kind of scroll through, see what they have. If you want to search for a particular book, we're going to go back up to the top, all the way up. And then see at the very top, it says search for a book by that little magnifying glass. I'm going to click in there and I'm going to search for something. Just for ease, I always search for Zoo by James Patterson. It's a short word, easy to type in. So there you can see the first one there is Zoo by James Patterson. I can scroll down. You'll notice the size of the pictures is different. That's a good indicator if it's an audiobook or an ebook. Also, so the first one where it's a more square picture, that's an audiobook. You can also see underneath there's a little pair of headphones and it says audio. The next one down is a little more rectangular. That one is an ebook. So if it's got the little headphones underneath and it's a little bit smaller picture, you know it's an audiobook. As long as it says borrow to the right of the picture, that book is available right now. I'm going to scroll down, see if there's one that might need to be put on hold. So you can see this, The Secret Zoo, it says place hold. So that one's not available right now. So if I click place hold, I would then get an email when that's available to be checked out to me. Sometimes it's a short wait, sometimes it's a little bit longer. If you look, so The Secret Zoo by Brian Chick, and then next to his name there's sort of a little calendar icon. That gives you kind of a good idea of how long the wait will be. I'm going to click that and it'll give me an estimate. So it shows me there's 1 copy in use, so there's only 1 copy available, and there are 7 people waiting, so they estimate it'll be about 16 weeks before I get that book. If I wanted to do that, I could just click place hold. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go to one that I want to check out. We'll go with this ebook version, and I'll hit borrow, and then borrow again. Wait a moment, and then it'll be checked out onto my bookshelf. So at this point, I can either open the book and immediately start reading, or I can keep browsing, or I can go to my shelf. I'm going to select open book. And then you can choose to send this to a Kindle, or you can read it right in this app. I almost always read it in the app. It's just easy, pops right up. Alright, so once it loads, you'll see the book. And then you can just use your finger to kind of turn the page. Swipe to the left, turn to the page, and then you can just start reading. Another thing that's really handy is if you tap on the screen, some options will show up. So you can see the little icon of the book I'm reading. You can see that I'm at 2% through the book. You can also click on where it says 2% and see a couple different versions of like your progress through the book. So I'm on page 9 of 490. I can also see that there's 2 pages left in the chapter, or I could keep it at that percentage. Below that, you'll see like a little white dot, and this is a way that you can scroll through the book very quickly. Another handy feature in Libby is that if you've been scrolling through, there will be a little pop-up. You can kind of see it mid-screen. It's a little red and black sort of rectangle with kind of a stopwatch looking thing, and then it says page 9. So that'll be the last page that you're reading. So if you flipped through a little bit, you can quickly go back to where you're reading by clicking that button. And then you can also go back to the page you were on before if you kind of are going back and forth. So that can be kind of handy. So there's the white dot that you can use to scroll through. Also below that, there's sort of a roller you can use. It does the same thing, it's just a different spot to put your finger and slide. You might notice there's like wide black dashes as well as thinner gray ones. So those more bold black boxes, those are the start of a chapter. So right here I'm on chapter 14. If I kind of just go through, I'll be just kind of mid-chapter. If I go to that next little bold black part, it'll be the next chapter. It's important to note that pagination with ebooks are not the same as physical books, so sometimes I'll have the regular book and the ebook and kind of go between. So the page numbers won't be the same, but the chapters will be. So if I know I'm at the beginning of chapter 15, I can quickly scroll through to that part here on my ebook. A couple of other handy things. In the top right corner, you'll see 3 little lines. You can click on that. And there's a few options here. You can search the book for if you're looking for a certain passage or something. You can look at a table of contents. It'll list all of the chapters. You can quickly click one and go to that spot. So again, if you're going from physical book to ebook, that might be handy. Another neat feature on Libby is the ability to bookmark. So if you find an interesting fact or just a meaningful passage or anything like that, you can bookmark a page. To do that, I'm going to just tap on the text to open my options. And then up towards the top right, you'll see a little ribbon icon. I'm going to click that, and that will add the bookmark. If I go back to the text, you can kind of see that little bookmark up in the top right corner. And then I'm going to scroll through, and I'm going to find another spot to bookmark. Alright, I'm going to bookmark this page as well by clicking that little ribbon symbol. And then you can see when I go out to the main text, there is that little red ribbon in the top right corner. If I go back a page, it goes away. When I go forward to that bookmarked page, you'll see it again. I'm going to tap just in the center of the page to pull up my options one more time. I'm going to hit the 3 little lines to open the menu. And now if I go to bookmarks, it'll show me the 2 spots that I have bookmarked, or however many you have. I don't think there's a limit to the bookmarks you can have. I'm going to hit done. So if I wanted to go back and just keep reading, I would just tap on the text again, and then those menu options would go away, and it would just be the full page screen of text. One more really handy thing, I'm going to pull up that menu one more time. And then you'll see underneath bookmarks there are reading settings. This is really great. One with this, I can make the text larger or smaller. So you'll see kind of in the top portion where it says, I believe that life is a game. That's the text size. So if I use this black slider, I can make that text size quite a bit larger. So that's the largest there. I can also make it smaller. So if you want your book to have fewer pages, you can make your text really small and read it more quickly. I do like to have it a little bit on the larger side, you know, easier on the eyes. If you click this toggle switch for include accessibility sizes, you get even more options, so you can go even larger. So that's really great. So you can get, and if I slide it all the way up and I click done, you can see just how much larger that is. So that's really great. And then you can just swipe through. I'm going to go back to my reading settings. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. A couple other options that can help with the lighting. You can have it either at bright, sepia, or dark. So you could have black background with white text. Sepia is sort of a cream colored black background with like a dark brown text, or bright. So those can come in handy, especially with different ambient lighting. The different settings can be kind of easier on your eyes. You can also switch fonts, so some might be a little bit easier to read. A really neat option is that there's this open dyslexic font. So if you or someone you know has dyslexia, this font is easier to read. I'm going to click done with that font. You'll see with that dyslexic font, each letter there is unique, so that's really neat option. I'm going to open back up my menu, my reading settings. There are some custom fonts you can also choose. You can also widen your line spacing. So there's really a lot of neat things, especially if you have some visual impairment. I'm going to go back to publisher default. Done. All right. So those are ebooks. I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you audiobooks, and then you'll be ready to roll. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back all the way down at the bottom where it says library, and this will take me back to my most recent search. If I wanted to go all the way back home, I could hit that library button again, or library at the top left. I'm going to stay here because there is an audiobook right now that we can borrow. So this first option, Zoo by James Patterson again. You see the little headphones underneath the cover art that says audio. I'm going to hit borrow. And then once it loads up, I'm going to open the audiobook. And this is, again, real user-friendly. If you want to play the audiobook, you just hit play and it'll start.
Hachette Audio presents Zoo, written by James Patterson and Michael Ledwidge.
So audiobooks are a great way to read books while you're driving or doing other things. They're really amazing. I'm a big audiobook fan. With audiobooks, you again have some options. You can go through your chapters. So if you have a physical book and the e-audio or ebook, you can find what chapter you're in. You can also bookmark sections with this. So let's scroll through and we'll bookmark a little chunk. We'll pretend we really like this section right here. I'm going to hit the little bookmark ribbon in the top. And you can make a note so that you kind of remember what you liked in that. And then if I go back to bookmarks, it'll be listed right there. And it'll take me right to that section. And
Under the blaring blue California sky.
So maybe in that note I might put, that there was a passage I liked from this second mark to then, 3:35 or something. So those are the bookmarks. Really handy tip, especially once you get into ebooks. In the top center, there's sort of that stopwatch looking thing. That is the speed at which it plays back. So you can adjust the speed just by tapping. So now I have it at 1.25 speed, 1.5 times speed. You can go all the way up to 2 times speed with this. And then if I hit it again, it'll go back to 1. You can also kind of tap and hold and use this like a slider. So if you want to go slower, you can slow down the speed of the book. So there's 0.6. I can also go all the way up to, I think, 3 times speed with this, which I cannot do 3 times speed myself. I can do 2 times speed sometimes. So that's really nice though. Especially you'll find narrators, some that really speak more slowly, some that are faster. So it's nice to be able to adjust that. You can also get through more books that way if you're listening at 1.5 times speed or even 2 times speed. Sometimes it's a little fast. So here's at 1.5 speed.
If there is an indication this morning of something being amiss, it is not in what the lions are doing, but in what they aren't. For lions, as for other...
So it's a little bit faster. Like I said, some narrators that works really well for, and some I always leave on one time speed. And it depends on the type of book. So that's kind of fun to play around with. Again, you can get through more books that way, so that's always good. You see the little moon at the top. I'm going to click that. That is a sleep timer. So with one click there, it's going to play for 30 minutes and then stop. So again, another handy feature. All right, I'm going to go back out to Libby. Last bit I'm going to talk about down at the bottom. So we saw library takes me back to where I can search and browse. If I click the little circle with the cover art, that takes me directly to whatever I last had open, whether it's an ebook or audiobook. I'm going to click back one more time. And then on the bottom right where it says shelf, I'm going to click that, and that'll take me to my loans. So I have all my loans here. You could see at the top I could look at my holds. And then if I've tagged books, as you search, you can add tags. So, you know, if there's a certain character you like, or just, you know, you can add your own personalized tags to find things again easily. So that's it. Libby is real easy to use, easy to set up. If at any point you have any trouble, feel free to call the library, 937-382-2417. We'd be happy to answer your questions or help walk you through the setup process. Or, you know, sometimes weird things happen, and we can kind of look on our end and see if there's something we can fix. So yeah, we hope you enjoy. We hope you read and listen to lots and lots of books, and thank you.